Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. 14 universities, infinite opportunities.
Hi, I'm Chancellor Karen Whitney, and today we'll be talking about how college students develop active and healthy lifestyles to be successful. We're joined today by a wonderful panel. We're joined by Glorianne Dziuba, who's the Community Health Education Program Director at Mansfield University. Good morning, Glorianne. There you go. We're also joined today by Dr. Kimberly Razzano, Associate Professor and Chair of Health Studies at East Stroudsburg University. Good morning, Dr. Razzano.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we're joined today by Zaria Cyriaque, a Senior Health, Restaurant, and Tourism Management and Business Management major at East Stroudsburg University. She's also a peer educator, so welcome everybody. Zaria, let me start off with you and ask you a question. What does it mean to be a peer educator?
A peer educator is basically that peer-to-peer level of education that we try to focus on topics such as just basic, mental health, physical health, alcohol, sexual health, and also as well as, drug and tobacco safety as well we go over.
Wow, that's just some really important topics.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Dr. Razzano, what are some of the ways East Stroudsburg is helping students develop an active and healthy lifestyle?
Yes, she's very committed to a healthy and active lifestyle. One of the ways is Zaria's commitment to the peer education program, because that gets spread campus-wide. Our students on campus are very active. You see them outside all the time, in the sense that we have, since about 2003, the Mattioli Recreation Center, which is a state-of-the-art rec center that offers individual classes as well as state-of-the-art equipment, group classes, group fitness like body pump, Zumba, yoga, some hardcore stuff like Warrior Cycling, that's a premier cycling group. We also have low-impact types of things like meditation. We also have Stony Acres, which is the 119-acre wildlife sanctuary that offers recreational activities, sort of low-element courses, high-element courses, a climbing wall, team building. One of the goals with ESU is for students who come to the campus, be part of the community, are very interactive and active, and so they can sort of improve their health status over their 4-year commitment. We also look at improving nutritional status because we know when you come to school as a freshman, your nutritional eating habits change, and we sort of want to look at that. So we have a nutrition certificate program that students can do in addition to their major to sort of say, hey, you know what, I can use a rec center to be active, I can learn a little bit more nutrition if I'm interested, I'm going to take a general education wellness course, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and then if my overall components of wellness that we talk about are sort of leading towards some health disparities, we have our counseling services to deal with some of those issues if students are saying, you know what, I'm doing my best, but I need a little bit of help.
Sure. Well, hey, Glorianne, what's happening at Mansfield?
Well, I guess I'd like to start by talking about our sports program. We have a very thriving team sports program for both men and women. They can choose from a variety of sports. But if that's not something that they're interested in or that they qualify for, there are also club sports, even things like bass fishing, for instance.
Oh, wow.
Which, yeah, that's interesting. Boxing, also intramurals. We're very proud of our fitness center, Kelchner Fitness Center. It's very large, it's very comprehensive. There's something there for everyone. It's when you first walk in, you can't miss the large room with a 29 by 80 foot climbing wall. That's very popular. There are rooms full of weight lifting equipment, aerobic equipment, state-of-the-art equipment. Lots of courts, even racquetball courts that are very popular. And then the Kelchner also offers a lot of group fitness classes ranging from, as Kimberly was saying, the low-impact yoga to Zumba to full body fit, total body fitness.
For all kinds of folks, all kinds of interests and interest levels.
Definitely. We even have a Wii room for those who are more technologically inclined. So, and there's lots of other things going on campus to raise awareness.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute, but let's go ahead now and take a break and go visit Slippery Rock University.
The HOPE Peer Educators, which stands for Healthy Outreach Through Peer Education, is a great part of the programs and services that we offer. They've basically been around and providing services, as far as I'm aware, since around the 90s.
The purpose of the HOPE Peer Educators is to provide education about how to be healthy, whether that's with alcohol, sex education, drugs, just exercising, stuff like that. The Hope Peer Educators just really are responsible for bringing that message out to campus and letting students know how they can be healthy in a variety of ways.
They're also pretty much our biggest force as far as outreach and education for us. And so they're the ones who are able to get outside of the student health services, advocate for the services that we provide, and they're the ones who are able to really connect with the students.
I thought what they were doing was very, very important, especially with education from a peer standpoint.
Sometimes for some students, they feel most comfortable working with another student.
I think people feel more comfortable talking to peers because they're going through currently what you were going through. They're your age, they get it.
Our Healthy Outreach to Peer Education goes into first seminars and other classrooms, residence halls to provide workshops around topics that they're dealing with.
We have a lot of different programs. One of them is called Beers, Cheers, and Fears, where we talk about alcohol consumption, safe alcohol consumption, signs of alcohol poisoning. Another one is called Safer Than Sorry, which is about sex education. We also do Resiliency Boot Camp, which is about stress relief and dealing with change. But right now we're trying to work on expanding those programs, giving more information into them, just expanding to new topics. One thing we don't really do is body image. I think that's one thing we really want to talk about. Same with sexual assault. We talk about sex a lot of the time and how you can have safer sex, but we haven't really had a specific program on sexual assault, and that's actually one of the things we're working on right now. We're working on a social media campaign about sexual assault, so that's one of the things we're hoping to add to. So basically we're just adding to the subject of well-being in general for students.
They are actually a student employee position through Student Health Services, and so they are paid student employees. They receive a wide range of training. They get a great experience as well.
The Hope Peer Educators are probably some of the best people I've ever worked with. They're the most genuinely kind and just smart individuals, and I think we are just a wonderful group of people. One can become a Hope Peer Educator by pretty much just letting us know. You can email us. Sometimes when we do our freshman seminar presentations, we'll give out an evaluation, and at the bottom it'll say, if you would like to become a Hope Peer Educator, give us your email, and from there we have an interview process that happens in the spring, and then you'll be ready for the next year if you would like to be one.
And so anybody can apply to be a peer educator if you're a student on campus, but we get a lot of health majors, education majors who apply based upon the type of work that they do.
Personally, I would like to think that we play a big part in the well-being of the students because we give them information that will help them be healthy, and hopefully they'll listen to our message since we are peers.
Welcome back, and today we're talking about how college students develop active and healthy lifestyles to be successful. Well, Glorianne, let's continue to talk about what are some of the biggest challenges on college campuses today that are related to mental health, and how does Mansfield tackle this issue?
Well, I do have to say that the director of our counseling center at Mansfield has indicated to us that there has been an uptick in requests for mental health counseling, and they do handle it very well, I feel. They see individuals, they see couples, they even do family counseling. There are a variety of issues that they address, the typical depression and anxiety adjustment issues, but also some trauma-related issues, drug and alcohol abuse and addiction issues, and among other things. They make referrals if necessary, and they even, we have a 24-hour crisis hotline if necessary, and we hold evening hours to accommodate the students. But I'd like to actually say that we do a lot to try to prevent these problems in the first place. So trying to keep the stress levels of the students down in the first place. And like I mentioned, we do offer yoga classes, some of those kinds of classes that kind of help students relax and deal with their stress a little bit more. We have a great student support system, I think, a number of offices that help with that, centers that help with that. So
I think that's terrific, because we know college is stressful and challenging.
it definitely
And
is.
So providing these kinds of services to really give students the greatest support is really important to their success.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you very
Yes.
much. Zaria, college, like I was saying, can be stressful for students, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
How important is it for students to seek help or opportunities to deal with what they're challenged by?
I think it's just super important for them to understand the resources they have on campus, but to actually, kind of take that step forward is always, I think, the hardest part. Because I feel like as a college student, sometimes it's tough to say, I can't do this, or I need help doing this, or, I feel like I'm doing my best, but it's not really reciprocating well with what I'm, my schoolwork or with my athletics. So I feel like mental health and just getting that help on campus through our counseling and psychological services is great. We host a variety of events with the center, Day Without Stress. Throughout finals week, we try to go out, hand out candy, just lighten the mood a little bit, and tell people, hey, it's okay to take that 10-minute break. If you're studying for 6 hours straight, it's okay to, take a break from that, maybe go to the gym, take a walk, that type of thing.
That's great.
yeah.
That's terrific. Hey, Dr. Razzano, how are these issues tackled on East Stroudsburg's radio show, Healthy Warriors? Tell us about it.
I love to speak about Healthy Warriors. Healthy Warriors is the radio show that goes on once a week for an hour. It is combined of faculty from the university, myself, Dr. Shala Davis, Dr. Laura Waters, and Dr. Ann Mellett, who are all faculty members within the college. And we wanted to have the opportunity to sort of spread the message of improving your health status, decreasing your stress. We talk about issues like sexuality, nutrition, depression, cancer, whatever the topic might be based on what's going on in current events or what the major issues are for students on campus. And we like to be serious with our message, and we always say it's not for replacing healthcare provider information, but we do like to have fun with it. We do like to have a song at the 30-minute mark that sort of lightens the mood a little. We try to do some Likert scale or types of quiz so students can sort of assess their own health attitudes or behaviors or knowledge about different topics. But we decided it's really important, if we can't have them in our courses, can we give students, faculty, and staff and the community an hour a week to sort of sit back, relax, hear about a health topic that may apply to them or somebody in their family or somebody on campus, and can they then reach out to different faculty to ask questions after that? Or maybe they need to seek out a peer educator or the counseling services or whoever it might be to say, you know what, I'm having a hard time with this issue. I didn't know a lot about it, and so can I move myself in the right directions to improve my health status?
That's great. So the radio show is just a kind of a low barrier, easy access way that students can learn and consider their own health and how to take actions.
Absolutely. And to be honest, you were talking about stress relief before. It's the best stress reliever for the faculty for that 1 hour because we have a lot of fun.
Well, we don't want stressed faculty either, so I appreciate that. Well, hey, now let's take a quick break and go visit Westchester University.
My name's Chris Morcone. I'm one of the associate professors in the nursing department here at Westchester University.
I'm Don McCown. I am the co-director of the Center for Contemplative Studies.
The Center for Contemplative Studies has been developed to ensure and promote the well-being of students at Westchester University. But ultimately, the center's mission here is to create a space of openness and kindness towards the self.
Contemplative studies is really an emerging discipline. It's both an applied area and an area of sort of intellectual discovery and interest.
Well, I think that Don's really bringing up the broader picture of this, but how we apply it here at the Center for Contemplative Studies is really the idea of awakening to who we are. And we're very much tuned into the students here at Westchester University in helping them to develop an awareness of themselves as well as how they walk through the world in the moment.
The one thing that I would add to sort of our activities with students is it's students, faculty, and staff are all invited into sort of our wellness proposition here. The other piece of it is that it's community-based. We're interested in how do we relate to each other, and what does knowing about ourselves help, how does that help us to relate to each other in better ways? And
so that philosophy really informs our programming.
Yeah.
So, you know, we needed to like find a way to reach the students, which we're still exploring. So we have our daily programming. So we start the day out with a yoga practice. So we have students teaching students yoga. So we really have that model that we want to thread through all the programming eventually. So we're out of a job hopefully soon, right, Don?
Yeah.
At any rate, so we start out with yoga and then go into mindfulness, meditation, either a sitting meditation, walking meditation, sometimes
Lying down
we do
meditation,
body
standing
scans.
meditation. Yeah.
So there's many different things, and we have the students are really invited to just drop in. The best thing about the positive things about students is that they want to come back and help other people. I mean, that's when you know that things have clicked on a deeper level. It's sort of very affirming to have the students who want to just come back and know that this is a safe space actually, and something that they want to invite their friends and colleagues to kind of come and experience.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about how college students can have healthier lifestyles to be successful. So, Zaria, why do you think peer education is essential for the well-being of students? Make the pitch.
It's just honestly, I feel like at first I was a little shy to do the job, honestly. I was very reluctant. I was like, how do I stand up there and tell people about sex and, you know, how to, you know, watch out for one another. But as I've been doing the job, it's the response we get is just, it's just so immense. You know, people I've never even met before. Hey, I have a question about this, you know, what are the symptoms of this? You know, I saw something the other day on campus that made me feel uncomfortable. Who do I report it to? That type of stuff is just really what makes me just keep going back every year to just start the new semester off with what can I teach these people, you know, what can I give them, you know? And I feel like my staff and my director, Laura Suits, does an awesome job at it. Awesome job.
That's really important.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're there as a peer working with your fellow students, so thank you. Hey, Glorianne, talk about how Mansfield contributes to the well-being of students.
Environmentally, or
the program-wise, or the campus, or, you know, through the programs and services that you work with and your colleagues work with.
Okay, well, I think that because we have a nutrition program at Mansfield, it's been a boon for our health and well-being on campus as far as the number of gen ed classes that we can offer that target health and well-being. I counted 6 of them, I think, that are gen ed classes that target health and well-being. Personal nutrition, nutrition and exercise, introduction to nutrition, we have cultural nutrition. There's just a variety of different gen ed classes. They are not required. I think that would be a great idea to require at least one. But they are very, very popular. They're always filled. And I think they have given most of the students on campus kind of a good basis for choosing a healthy lifestyle.
For a lot of the students, it's the first time they're making a ton of decisions all on their own.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's nutrition or exercise or seeking help, they're making for the first time. They're on their own at the university without their immediate family, and so these kinds of courses I would think would be very helpful to them.
That's correct.
That's
and we
great.
also have instituted a peer component as well. And that's been very popular. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that, Zaria, that's popular and that you're enjoying it. It's working very well.
That's great.
And when you teach, you learn. that's when you learn, right?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
when our students go out and teach each other, I think it's just cementing what they're learning
Sure, that's
in the
very,
classroom.
That's very deep learning. Dr. Razzano, about learning at East Stroudsburg, tell us more about the new general education course that focuses on students' well-being.
A few years ago, East Stroudsburg University redeveloped its general education courses. And the College of Health Sciences, specifically the chairs, said, my gosh, we finally have an opportunity to have a health and wellness course as part of the general education program, meaning that every student has to take the course. And I believe that it's a responsibility of the university to be excited and responsible for students' health and well-being. And so this course that we developed, it took 4 years to develop and get approved. We implemented it for the first time in the fall of 2016. The course is a 3-credit class. And when we were writing the course, we said, well, let's use the Centers for Disease Control. There's 6 risk behaviors that put students at risk for premature death, for developing health disparities, chronic illnesses, heart disease, diabetes, and so forth, communicable diseases. And those behaviors are all preventable. And all those behaviors are established before you graduate college. And so if we can focus on those content areas to assess their knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors, help students make better decisions, whether it's about nutrition, activity, sexuality, mental health. If they find that their spokes of their wellness wheel are missing, or whatever, they might not look like they're really at the health literate level they want to be, they can seek out services on campus. The other half of the course, because that's the 8 weeks, is about health. The second 8 weeks is taught by our physical education, exercise science, or athletic training faculty, and that's 8 solid weeks of physical activity looking at what is your lifetime wellness goal? What's your lifetime physical activity goal? And we assess students for all of this at the beginning of the semester, and they do a plan throughout the 15 weeks, and we assess at the end. And now we say your next 3 years or 4 years at ESU, these are the new knowledge you have, the attitudes you have changed or want to change, the behaviors that you came with that are negative, and now you have these survival skills to improve your health status. So not only do you have a successful GPA at the end of 4 years, but you can implement these goals over the next 3 years. So when you graduate, your health status is in a good place, that maybe you don't develop these chronic diseases the next 10, 15, or 20 years. And while you're at Stroudsburg University, you are the healthiest you can be, and you're always utilizing those services. And Zaria is a perfect example of somebody who is a product of taking health education very seriously.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead now and take a quick break and visit Clarion University.
The Center for Wellness offers several different services, and I'm one part of that. So we have student support services, which is my part of the office, drug and alcohol services, the health services office, which is one wing, and then counseling services. So 4 different offices kind of within the same suite. We did that intentionally because the stigma of mental health and overall, so that people felt comfortable kind of coming into one location for multiple different things all at once to increase the anonymity. Students are here primarily for academics, but all these other things that you have to do and all these other things that you're involved in while you're here really have a severe effect on how we're able to do those. I think that we can do a really good job at helping students with their well-being just by being there for the support side of it, because we're in the journey together. It's obviously their journey, but we're there to kind of help them walk through it. Signs of a difficulty or signs of a problem are going to be different for everybody, because we're all kind of born with a baseline of how we function, but also how resilient we are. So I think really the sign of a problem to me is whenever your daily functioning is affected. So if you notice yourself missing class or missing responsibilities for a couple days a week, if you're noticing yourself socially isolate, not hanging out with friends, maybe not responding to them whenever they text, feeling like people don't really care about you or like you anymore. Thoughts of death are a very frequent thing for people with pretty significant depression in the moment. If you take a snapshot of people whenever they're doing their best, whenever they're in their A1, mental health, physical health, overall wellness, you're going to notice a very different version from the person that is really struggling. Because a lot of the things that they did before to keep themselves well, maybe they're not there as much right now. So it's really about plugging those things back in and getting that formula to be kind of equal in that the amount of stress I'm receiving is complemented by the amount that I'm able to do on a daily basis. So really, a lot of it's things that you might already do, but some of it we can definitely help with, trying to give different options or different avenues to keep yourself well. people's individual well-being is a journey, right? It doesn't start with college, it doesn't stop with college. It kind of keeps going forever. And in the Center for Wellness, there's kind of this infectious idea that we have that you're the person responsible, but also that has the pleasure of knowing yourself the best, right? The piece that we get to see is 4 years, and 4 years is a blip. You know, it's a tiny little spot on the radar. But our jobs in that 4 years is really trying to get people to a place where they're able to understand, well, how do I know whenever something's going wrong? How do I know whenever I wake up in the morning and I don't feel well? You know, whether it's, do I have the flu, or do I have, you know, depression in the moment, or anxiety, or what's getting in my way? I believe the experiences that people have in the Center for Wellness can transcend college and hopefully go on with them for their entire lives, that they're able to, you know, better understand themselves and better understand when do I need help versus when do I start to plug in those coping skills that I have to get myself back to the level that I need to be.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about how college students can achieve active and healthy lifestyles to be successful in college. Zaria, give us some advice as a student and peer educator. What advice would you like to give your fellow students or prospective students on how to be healthy?
The best advice I could give after my 4 years is basically, you know, don't be afraid to get that help. Don't be afraid to say you need help. Don't be afraid to raise the white flag and say, you know what, someone help me, because we have those resources. So.
Great advice. Dr. Razzano, as a faculty member, what advice would you give students looking to achieve a healthy lifestyle on campus?
Be aware of all of the opportunities on campus to improve your health status and to have a support system when things aren't going so well, and then to reach out to that support system in order to make your days and your nights and your experience at your college campus better.
Great, great. Glorianne, what opportunities are available at Mansfield, and what advice do you have for students from your perspective?
Well, we have a variety of opportunities at Mansfield, and I would just encourage students to take advantage of everything that's available. I think it can really give them a great foundation for a healthy life for the remainder of their lifetime.
There you go. Let me ask you, Zaria, when students are coming, prospective students are going to come and tour a campus, a university, because you probably did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What should they look for? What would be signs of a university that's really committed to being healthy and your health as a student?
Definitely, when I was on the tour, you know, making sure we're getting that look at the physical aspect of things, you know, the athletic side of, you know, going to the gym. I know when I went on tour, they showed us the gym, you know, explaining things such as this is what we have here, you know, individual things, you know, if you need a trainer, that type of thing. Also, as well as, you know, just the overall feeling you get, you know, when you get on campus. Because I know I got accepted to multiple schools, and when I walked on the ESU, that was the first one I went to. I was like, Mom, this is where I'm going. This is it. This is where I want to be for the next 4 years. So.
You knew that was a great place for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, terrific, and we're glad you're there.
Thank you.
Panelists, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for such a great discussion on such an important topic, and thank you for viewing this program and learning more about how the 14 state universities are very committed to each student's health and success.
Come back next week to learn more of the infinite opportunities at the state system's 14 universities, or visit us online